Record.
Got it. Yay.
Okay.
I started last time, I think. So
yeah. Okay.
you go for it.
I also just got a comment that the video is echoing.
Oh, shoot.
I know. Well, bear with us. This is our first time. Eek.
Oh, it's echoing because they can still hear.
Yeah.
Shoot. Oh, well, maybe we can back it up. Back it
Yeah,
up.
I put my phone over there. I'll do this over here. Eek. Technical difficulty.
If I sit right, my kids are gonna come right through the front door and be like, "What are you doing, Mama?"
Oh, you're on the front porch.
I'm on the front porch. Yeah. All right. How about now? Can they still hear us though? That's the question. Can you still hear us? As we figure all this out.
Yeah, it's my friend Hesley. So she texted me and she said the video's echoing, but she did say still watching. We'll see. If it doesn't, we'll watch back afterwards. And if it's terrible, we will figure out a new technical way to do it.
Yes. I guess we could. No, that won't work. Oh, we could do our
headphones. I always have complications with my headphones, but we'll make it work.
True. All right, we're gonna go like this. We're doing it live here.
She said it's better.
She says it's better?
Yeah.
Can she hear me? I feel like I'm super far away.
I don't know, but there's a gray.
Whoa, hi guys. Told you that was gonna
happen. In raw life.
Hi guys, stay inside. I'm recording something, Kay. Okay. No, you gotta stay in the backyard. I'm working.
And she can hear you.
Okay.
Thanks, girlfriend.
Go ahead. Okay, you don't have to, but you can't come out here. All right. Love you. You can't come out. You see right there. Go ahead, Jess.
Welcome back to the In Raw Life podcast. We are super excited to be here today because we are not just recording our podcast today, but we are going live in our Facebook group where we have a beautiful community that we love nourishing and being there for, called Work-Life Balance for the Empowered Unstoppable Woman. And we are giving them the exclusive look at what it looks like to record and getting the first look at the episode and all the shenanigans that go on. Sometimes they go on, sometimes they don't.
Today
but they get the full unedited version, what it looks like, how we're balancing all of this. And so if you're in there, we love you. We're excited that you get to see this. If you're not in there and you feel like you want to be, then you should go find us and join the group. But today we are continuing our self-care series. And this is a really, really important one. This is one of the ones, honestly, probably why we started the podcast, started really working together, kind of started our mission. So would you like to introduce today's topic, Sierra?
I'd love to. Okay, today's self-care is mental self-care. And it is May, so it's Mental Health Awareness Month, which I'm hugely passionate about. For one, I struggled with depression for quite some years, for a while. I think it was 7, maybe 8 in total. So for one, I struggled really bad with it. And then for two, I have a lot of friends and family who have struggled with it. And it breaks my heart. It breaks my heart when people feel like that, like there's no hope, like there's no chance that tomorrow is going to get brighter, that they're going to be stuck in this depression or anxiety forever. And I'm not, I guess, like, I wouldn't say that I'm like, I never experienced depression or anxiety again. I definitely do, but it's not chronic the way it used to be. It's not every single morning I wake up and I feel that like weight of depression. And so I just like to spread hope that there's ways out. And I'm really passionate about that. And so that's what we're talking about. We're talking about self-care. We're talking about the mental self-care aspect and how to take care of your mental health. And of course, like Jess and I are not doctors. we can't like prescribe you anything. Our advice is not
We can't
medical.
diagnose.
No, but I can speak from experience, and I can from experience say that I gave everything in my power to get out of depression, and I have full confidence that that's why I got out of it, is because I didn't stop fighting. It's not like I'm special in the fact that like, oh, it just wasn't going to last long for me. No, it would still be here if I didn't bust my ass to fight it off. And so yeah, so whether you're like very much depressed or just kind of going through a, a down time, I hope this episode encourages you that you don't have to be here forever. So
Yeah, and mental health covers so much more. Like
true.
we often go straight to like the big ones, like depression or anxiety, which plague more people than you'd realize. So that's another aspect of what we do, is making sure that you're not alone. Like, we promise you're not the only one. Which I know can sometimes, like, you can feel consoled in, oh, I'm special in this, but also know that you don't have to be alone in it, because there are other people doing it and you can talk about it and it's okay. But there's so many forms of mental health in general. There's lots of different things. There's people who might, like Sierra said, go through down times, not necessarily even depression or anxiety, but just have really down times because they're not taking care of their mental health, their thoughts, their, thinking throughout the day. And that's really, really important to take care of, and making sure that you're on top of it, just like exercising and eating the right foods.
Mhm.
So it's, being that whole well-rounded person so that you can feel your best as often as possible.
Yeah, it's interesting too. Okay, so we've been pulling from this Instagram account where they're giving examples of mental health care. And their examples this go round were interesting, but I feel like it doesn't I think maybe they meant mental self-care as more of like a mentally stimulation, like because they said reading a book or listening to a podcast. So like maybe they meant like educational self-care,
Mhm.
but I love the idea of
I I mean, I think that those are decent examples of
for
some things you could do. It's not end all be all, but
well, yeah.
how they describe it, I think, is what we're talking about, because they say the actions we take to clear and stimulate our mind and the practice mindfulness part, maybe. Like
Yeah.
making sure that you're really being intentional with your thoughts, which, thoughts create feelings, create actions, the belief, all that stuff.
I feel like they could have almost added one more and meant like had one for
Mm,
mindfulness and one for education because I feel like they kind of try to combine it, like stimulate our mind. I
mm,
don't know. But and I do think there should be like an educational self-care because like we who doesn't love learning, like that's so good for you if it's your like if something you're passionate in learning about, which we could totally go into. Bonus episode.
yeah. I
But I think
mean, stimulating your mind, I don't know, trying to think about it more, stimulating your mind in the right ways for you is a form of, like, taking care of your mental health.
true. It is. I think, well, I guess what I was going to say is I think that they, like, with mental health, there's so much you could
Yeah.
cover to help, like, to give yourself mental health care. Like, I just did, somebody asked me on TikTok, like, how they would ask for advice on how to get over depression. And I was like, well, I did a lot of things, but like, let me think of three. And one of them was like just getting outside because when you're super
Mhm.
depressed, the last thing you want to do is go outside. And like you just want to lay in bed all day because it's a lot easier and it just I don't know, it's weird. It's like your body shuts down and says like, oh, I don't want to do this today. And
Mhm.
what all you need to do is do it today. Like you need to get up,
Mhm.
you need to get out of the house. That's the only way it's going to work. But like for some reason your body just tricks you into thinking that it's way better if you stay inside. And so like there's so many aspects like that. Like stay inside or get outside, get your body moving, have like start to exercise. That helps with your mental health. Eating healthy. But like when you're depressed, you just want ice cream. Like it's so weird. Your mind tells you all these things that are just going to make it worse. Where like, so I feel like mental self-care in and of itself is the act of fighting what your brain is telling you to turn to for comfort and taking action in actually helping your mind get to a place of peace and freedom from whatever the sadness or anxiousness or intense emotion that has taken over.
I feel like this is so related to the podcast episode that I sent you the other week from the Life Coach School podcast, right? I think that's the full name. But she talks about like on the day that you just can't or just don't wanna. Because she talks about, you know, whether it's a mental thing or like you're just exhausted or you're actually sick, you know, she literally lists the same things that you listed is get outside, get your body moving, just do the things.
Yeah.
But it's also, you know, it's the what comes first, the chicken or the egg. It's like a catch-22 circle kind of thing is, but how do you? How do you make yourself when you're so deep in it?
Yeah.
I mean, I haven't quite been there, so it's hard for me, but I can understand that like someone listening would be like, but
yeah. Well, it is hard. And that's why like you have to the way, okay, so I'll give a perfect example. I'm fighting, or I just got through COVID. I'm possibly still contagious. I'm not 100% sure. Hopefully not. But I'm doing better.
you're outside.
I am outside. But okay, so with COVID, I'm totally dead tired, right? Like I could lay in bed and sleep all day long. But also I was in my room from like Tuesday night until Saturday morning. And I was so done. Like I was so done being in my room because I am a person who loves the outdoors. I love people. I can't hug my children. Like I'm dying inside a little bit. I'm dying. And I could feel like it didn't feel like how depressed I was when I was depressed, but I felt like hints of depression coming again. And what baby? Okay, ask brother for some help, okay? So I could feel hints of depression again. And my thought, like, all I wanted to do was just sleep. But I also know that like when you're in that phase where you just want to sleep and you just want to lay there, that's like it's like a cesspool for worse thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
Like I know that because I've been there. You lay there, and the longer you lay there, the worse your thoughts get, and the darker they get, and the cloudier your head gets, and the sadder your body gets. Like it's a weird thing. And I'm like, I have to go outside. I just have to. And at some point, I just like I was super tired. On Saturday, I was super dead tired, and my husband came up and showed me a picture of my kids having a picnic out here. And I'm like, all right, I gotta go. So I pushed myself out of bed. I was exhausted. I almost fell asleep. Like as I was walking down, and I came and like they sat on one side of the lawn and I sat on the other, and I just laid there, but at least I was like outside and I was with them. So that was like step one. And then so that meant so that was Saturday, and yesterday, Sunday, I again was super tired, but I wasn't really sleeping, and I was like, I don't know what to do. I'm like, I'm just gonna go outside. Like I have to, like I already did it. I did it once. I can do it again. So you know, like my first once, I was super dead tired, and I laid like a blob on the grass, and then I went and slept for 8 hours at 7:00 at night, like instantly afterwards, you know. But then it gave me like it's baby steps. You just get yourself to go out there, and then you stay out there as long as you can. And then the next time it's easier because you're like, oh, that wasn't so bad. Oh, that actually helped. And then you have evidence to remind yourself it's not just like a fleeting thought, it can actually help. And so I'm going to do it because it'll actually help, you know? So that's what I like. It takes willpower. It takes a lot of strength. It takes dragging your butt out, but you have to ask yourself at the end of the day, like, what do I want? Do I want to feel better, or do I want to just let myself waste away in misery? And I think with every depressed person, there comes a time where you don't want to wait. You don't want to suffer anymore. You'll do whatever it takes, even though it doesn't feel like, even though it's fighting everything in your body to do it. If you want to get out of it, you've got to take the steps, and you will take the steps if you want to get out of it.
Yeah, I think that kind of covers, like, any other mental anything. Like, even, slight anxiety, like, stronger anxiety, just overwhelming thoughts. Like, I know I can get really deep into my head and overwhelming thoughts. I'm like, "Well, what's the outcome that I want? Is this serving that?" No. Like, I know the action to take. I don't know what the outcome will be, but I know the action to take. It could be a little bit scary to me, but, like, that's what I need to do. So just do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's, yeah. And sometimes, sometimes our anxieties are right. Like, I think you have to really like tap into what you're feeling, like when it comes to anxiety, sometimes anxiety is telling you, hey, don't do that thing because it's dangerous,
Mm,
and if
yeah.
that's true, then don't do it. But like, ask yourself, how dangerous is this? What is the worst danger that can happen? Is it like dangerous that maybe I could meet the love of my life at this bar that I don't really want to go to? Like what, like what is the fear? What's holding you back?
Mhm.
Sometimes anxiety presents itself for what it's worth, which is I want to save your life.
Yeah.
Sometimes anxiety prevents you from doing big bold things that you should be putting yourself out towards.
And living
And
your
so
life.
you just kind of got to step into it and embrace it, and it's a little scary, but then boom, love of your life sitting at the bar. Like, what?
Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah. Or yeah, I mean, in anything, like, even, like, with house hunting recently, I'm like, "Okay, I've got these decisions to make, but, like, if I don't go do this, like, or I'm tired or I don't wanna, like, dig into money more. If I don't do this, then I'm not gonna like, there's no chance of getting it. So, let me really think about this and just, like, go for it." Like, every time like, my life the past few years, which was so not me before, is so much like, think, little overthink, "F it, let's do it." Like, push the button, hit send, make the call, whatever it is, and then it's always okay.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. In the end, it will all be okay. If it's not okay, it's not the end.
Bam,
Um,
yeah.
John Lennon. Anyway, uh, well, yeah. So I guess since we don't have like full, since I believe that there's more than just reading a book or watching a podcast or like mentally stimulating things to get to for mental health care. I'll give like a couple of things that I think are good, which I've already mentioned. Getting outside is one.
I
Getting
think
your
getting
body,
outside is, like, number 1 key
yeah,
thing.
yeah. And it doesn't necessarily like you don't have to go for a walk. If you could go for a walk and get outside, that's
Yeah.
like double power because then you're getting your body moving. But even just like getting outside for a minute, which is like here I am. I never record the podcast outside. Not never, but I rarely record the podcast outside, but I'm doing it because I've been inside and I need it. I know it's
Mhm.
good for my mental health. Um if you're just listening, I'm outside. You can see us. Which I'm sure you can hear by all the birds chirping and cars driving by.
Mhm.
But excuse me.
Mm.
COVID.
Yeah, that
um,
was me this morning, so
ugh.
I figured one of us would be like that.
Yep. But also, like, I mean, everything has its sacrifice too, right? So maybe this audio is going to have the interruption of some cars or Tweety birds or whatever. But like, the sacrifice is what? Like, how like my mental health is better. And do you guys care that you hear like a car drive by occasionally? Hopefully not. And if you do, maybe we're not your podcast, like it's fine because you have to do what's good for you. You have to be your own advocate or nobody else will be. So
Mhm.
get outside, get moving, eat healthy food. Like really changing my diet helped me immensely. I cut out dairy, I cut out alcohol because I was like those things brought down my mood. I noticed it. When I stopped drinking them or eating them, would be I would be in a better spirit. So, and I drink them again now that I'm okay. But when you're in a place of sadness, don't make it worse by having alcohol, please. Um, Also, talking to a friend, like, make a lot of times you think like you're the only person going through it. No one else will understand. You should absolutely talk to somebody because the more you can talk about it, the more you can understand it. The more like the easier it becomes to talk about and the easier it is to do something about it. I absolutely recommend seeing a therapist. Therapists are not scary. They are easier than ever to get in front of. You can do them online. You don't even have to leave your house. And finding the right one sometimes can be tricky, but when you do, it is so helpful. They just help you work through whatever it is that you need to work through. And finally, for me, prayer worked immensely. I prayed day and night. I prayed and prayed and prayed. And I know that it was with my fervor and prayer that I am where I am today. And I am grateful for it. So that is my mental self-care tips for you.
Yeah. And then I really do, I mean, I do still agree with the reading and listening to podcasts because I don't only do those things for education reasons, like reading or listening to, personal development, self-growth books helped me mentally big time. Like it gave me those tools of how to whatever I needed to do, and still does. And same with the podcast. Like anytime that I'm getting overwhelmed, like overwhelming thoughts or maybe even like slight anxiety or whatever, I honestly immediately go to podcast or YouTube and look up like about that subject and then getting to just hear other people going through it and their perspectives, even if it's not advice, helps me. It like helps me realize, oh yeah, okay, I'm not alone in this.
Yeah.
I'm not crazy. I'm like, it's okay. And I'll usually get some sort of like, tidbits that kind of help me take action that I need to take. So,
Perfect. Perfect.
yeah,
Well, I think that's it. Do you think so? You think
I think so. Go for it.
All right. Well, thanks for coming back and joining us again on another episode of the In Raw Life podcast. We're so glad that you keep coming back, that you keep showing up. We hope you love our antics, our advice,
Babies.
our babies. We hope you love us. And if you do, please give us a rate, a review, subscribe to the podcast, and that will help our podcast to grow. We love your support, and we'd love for you to be a part of the show too. So if you want, you can send what balance means. I'm talking to Auntie Jess. Send. You really love her?
I really love you, Gray.
Man, this one is full of antics. She's real funny. All right. Anyway, what was I saying?
Just
Send us
what they think.
What? Hold on, be quiet, real quick. Shh. Yeah, she's over there too. It's magic. Okay, send us what balance means to you to hello@inrawlife.com, and we might feature you at the beginning of a show.
Until next week, we hope that you take any tidbits that you learned today, even if it's just knowing that you're not alone in it and it's okay, whatever you're going through. And it's also okay to take the action. Get out, whether it's getting outside, reading something, listening to something, sharing it with somebody. Just take care of you and your mental facilities so that you can be the best you and get out there and show the world what you got. And we love you guys. Bye. Bye.
Bye.